But back here in Europe, more than 120,000 pigs have been slaughtered in Bulgaria in an attempt to limit the number of cases of swine fever. Now, an African strain of the virus is currently sweeping across farms in Eastern Europe. In Romania, 300 new outbreaks were reported last month, and animal health experts are concerned that this now has the potential to devastate the continent's pork industry. Well, for more on this story, I'm joined now by Euronews' Alistair Sanford right here in the studio. So thank you very much for joining us here on Euronews now. And tell us what has been found so far. How serious is the problem, Alistair?
Well, there is alarm now because of the situation in Bulgaria and Romania, where the number of contaminated cases has been on the rise. Both countries have been taking measures. In Bulgaria, hundreds of thousands of pigs have not been put on the market, and there are fears that this could lead to the whole pig industry being devastated in Bulgaria. Both countries have been culling hundreds of thousands of pigs. In Bulgaria, they've now had a sixth industrial farm that's been found to be contaminated. And what they've done is they've set up 20-kilometre zones around those industrial farms and ordered the culling of home-raised pigs also in those designated zones. They're giving promising compensation for pig owners who carry out culling of €150 per farmer, and they say that 75% of that funding will come from the EU. But there's a certain resistance, and last week saw protests in Bulgaria from lots of pig farmers saying, well, my region's not affected, why should I carry out this culling? Both countries, of course, are amongst the poorest in Europe. As well as the industrial farms, there are lots of backyard farmers as well, where they raise pigs at home, and farmers are being urged not to hide animals now from food safety officials. We should point out, of course, that swine fever is fatal, of course, to pigs, but it carries no threat to human health.
Indeed, no threat to human health. But despite that, the big question, of course, we want to know is, will the virus spread further? And is there anything being done at European level to stop it?
Well, yes, this is the big worry, that it could pose a danger to the pork industry across Europe. So far, outside these two countries, we've got one case reported in Slovakia, and over the last few years, there have been others reported in places like Lithuania. In fact, the EU Commission, the European Commission, has now issued a decision highlighting Lithuania, Poland as well as new risk areas. But so far, there have been no cases found in pork-producing countries in Western Europe, such as France, Germany and the Netherlands. The authorities in Bulgaria and Romania have been accused of dragging their feet. The European Commission sent a team last month to Bulgaria and concluded they weren't doing enough. In Romania, pork producers themselves accuse the authorities of failing to implement the measures in full, and they say in effect that they're scared of the small farmers, and so it's being turned into what's described as a political disease. But all 28 states in the European Union are obliged to carry out prevention and control measures. Some have been acting. Greece, for instance, has banned pork imports from Bulgaria. All the others are now on high alert.
OK, we'll certainly keep an eye on that. Alistair Sanford, thank you so much for all those details.